4 o'clock was the magic mark, wasn't it, mate?
It was, you said 4 o'clock.
And what time is it now, Merv?
Just on, have a look at this snapper.
Oh, look at that for a fish.
Jesus.
Oh, look at that, Merv. You are the man.
It's a beauty. Jeez, he's got that,
and
hasn't he?
look at him. He is just getting rid of all his stuff. And he has swallowed it.
Wow,
that's a big fish,
that.
mate. I'm going to grab him by the tail. Oh, that is a big fish. Holy snapping, I can hardly lift him. I swing him around here. Merv! Oh, you've done well. Just to fill you in, we've got a lot of small fish under the boat. We just keep putting baits down, just keep trying. And Merv, it looks like you've put a few strips of squid on that one.
No, just a big squid.
Oh, look at that.
Full
for a
squid.
Fish.
Look at this for a tangle in the background too. This is Big Merv at his best.
Don't worry, mate, it's my reel. That's a cracker snapper. That is Merv Hughes at his best.
Oh, mate.
It's been a pleasure, hasn't it, mate?
It's been fantastic.
This is a big snapper. Merv just got busted off on the bottom. We're actually fishing over a wreck, and the trouble with fishing structure is occasionally you're going to get your gear stuck in it. I threw 2 rods out. I had the big fish theory. I put a whole King George whiting frame, about 40 centimetres, on this little Trinidad 12. I love this little outfit, Trinidad 12 on a Starlo stick. You see the guides wrap around the blank to make it easier. I cast it out as far as I could just to get away from the boat and the noise. And to be quite honest, I haven't checked this bait for half an hour. I was retying a rig with Merv over there. He's showing me how he makes this new paternoster he's been trying. And this rod just exploded, buckled over and went. And I think it's taken about 4 30 or 40 metre runs, and it's got quite a bit of power. Look at that now, it's taking line. The ratchet isn't on, so it's very hard to hear, but just a big, strong, powerful fish. And on 20-pound fins and this little outfit, look at that. Just gives you a serious workout. Look at that line just slowly tricking off the spool, and every time it goes, there it is again, a massive, massive head-shaking lunge coming through the rod. It's just so important too not to lunge. Nice, smooth movements. You'll see I just wind up a little bit of line, relax, bring him up. You see some people, they jerk a lot. If you can keep the fish nice and comfortable as he comes up, he's not going to make any sudden movements, should make it a little bit easier for you. And when you get a big fish in the boat, and it's a great tip for all anglers, because sometimes we forget, try and keep their head under the water. If you lift their head out of the water, they panic, and they can do the bolt, and you've got no stretch in your line, they can nick off. So just nice and gentle. I can see colour, Merv. It's still a long way down, but I can see a white flash of the underbelly flanks of a big red.
That's a big fish.
That is a big fish, mate. Look at this. This is when your heart, I've caught a lot of fish, thousands, tens of thousands of fish, but my heart is still in my throat as this fish, look at this, Michael, as this fish comes up.
This is where you need a bloke on the net that knows what he's doing.
Oh, my lordy me. Look at the size of that. Oh. And just slowly towards you, Merv. Take your time. Oh.
Jesus.
Oh, my golly.
That is a monster. He just spat out the prawn.
Yes, man.
Hey?
Yes, man.
Spat out a prawn.
Look at this. Oh, is this the biggest snapper in the history of the free world? Oh, my God.
Look at that, gee.
Oh, and look at that, hook's pinned him under the jaw there. We'll see if we can get some pliers. There's the pliers. Oh, how big was it when it came up in the water, boys?
That's massive.
Insane. And see that? The second hook pinned under the jaw. We better get the brag mat out. Although we're not going to need the brag mat to brag about this one, are we, fellas? Oh, I just don't want to drop him.
Oh, look at him.
How's that for a snapper? It is a horse. It is a horse of a fish. Look at the size of the gob on it. It took...
Oh, here we go.
It took a whole King George whiting. It is as big as me. And this is when the truth lie double dare comes.
It's a metery. Nah, not quite. 98.
What have we got there? 99. 99 centimetres. Ash, nice and loud. What do you reckon a 99 centimetre snapper weighs? I know there was a 99 centimetre snapper caught yesterday.
I reckon he's good 28, I reckon. 26, 28 pound.
Well, I'll tell you how big it is. Its head's as big as mine. Look at this. Look at that.
Massive.
Smile. I'm on the famous Lord Howe Island jetty, and next to me, the very famous Gary Crombie from Oblivion Sports Fishing Charters. Gazza, great to see you, mate.
Glad you could make it, Paul.
Now, everyone told me you'd break my hand with the handshake, and you did. I just had to test that on the old phalanges. Now, the weather's not 100%.
Weather's not at its best. Ideal conditions would have been a few nights less. But I think we can battle along and find you a bit of action. It's just going to be, we'll work around the difficult circumstances.
And we're targeting fish in the lagoon?
Fishing the lagoon today, not suitable outside, but the lagoon is good in its own right. Targeting bluefish, drummer, trevally and double headers.
Let's go nail a few of them, mate.
Excellent idea. To the boat.
We've got 15 knots with 20 knot gusts, and Crom, it can make it a little bit difficult when the wind's pushing that chop across the water.
Unfortunate, yeah. It really helps if you can see these fish, helps to control them, helps to know where to put your bait and where to sit with the boat, all those things. And this wind ripple's really making life a bit difficult today. But good news is, it's not cold and it's not raining.
That's very good news.
And we've seen a few fish and we might see a few more. Bring him up for me, Paul. Come on. Not a monster, but a nice fish to warm up on. Won't even put the net on him.
I'll just lift him in?
Yep, swing him in for me.
How good is that now, Crom? That's my very, very first ever double header. And it's just a pup, isn't it?
It's a pup, unfortunately. That one we had on before was a bigger fish. This is one of his females, but it's still a nice fish to start off with, just to get the idea of hooking him now.
So when you say one of his females, how does that all work?
Well, generally they live in a harem system. One big male will travel with 6, 8, 10 even smaller fish. They'll all be females.
Yep.
If you kill the male or he dies, the largest female in the group turn into a male. Lots of wrasse species do it.
And it's fairly easy to see why they call them a double header.
Exactly. As that gets more pronounced, the big male, that lump on the head there will be virtually turned right over as long as his nose here.
Yep.
And that gives him the name, of course.
What a pretty, pretty fish.
Strength all comes from this huge, powerful tail, and all these fins just spread out. The whole thing becomes a tail from the head back. Only sprinting power, but very strong sprinting power, no staying power.
Well, he's strong and so is the wind.
We might get him back in the water.
We'll get him back in the water, but that's our first double header from Lord Howe Island. Oh, something just grabbed that, but wasn't that big. I don't know what it was, Crom.
Small bluefish maybe. Ah, no, green block wrasse. That's the one I was calling for before.
Oh, how pretty is that?
That's the one I called on that first fish.
Oh, look at that. I'm so excited to have caught that. Ow! Well, I was. Let me just try and grab this guy.
Very slimy, but not too many spikes. Just watch the hook
Look at that, he almost matches my shorts. Look at that. I'm actually looking for the volume knob on this thing, Crom, so I can turn it down.
Green block wrasse.
Cousin of the double header?
Cousin of the double header. Same sort of configuration, that lovely big paddle tail. Doesn't grow as big. That's about maxes him out for size.
That has got to be the prettiest fish I think I've ever seen.
They are really nice to look at.
And I caught him before he hit the deck.
And they love bread.
They love bread. Ow! And they're very slimy. How's the teeth on it? I'll just show you those teeth. They're big crushing teeth, are they, mate, for getting things off the rocks?
Grabbing, pulling out type of teeth, pulling things out of crevices amongst the coral.
Beautiful, Crom. Well, if you can get the hook out for me. Now, this is obviously a male.
Male. They're much more colourful and larger than the female. Female is about half this size and very drab.
Yep. So, I know with parrots, except for the eclectus parrot, the male is always a much prettier bird because he's got to try and impress the female. Much the same with these guys.
Yes, exactly.
Whoop, away it goes. I've caught a green block wrasse, I've caught a double header, and I've fished with Mr. Crombie in Lord Howe Lagoon.
Still could be a few up over the rocks there.
Oh, we want to see movement down there somewhere?
See movement, I hope so.
Yeah. So our drummer rig, Shimano T-curve rod, little Stratic 4000, 20-pound fins braid and a bit of mono to a hook and bread. Nothing too technical, but sometimes, look at the size of those fish. Sometimes not too technical catches the fish. They're big fish, Crom.
Got them for about 4.5, you know, 5K maybe the best one there. With his tail.
There's one having a look. Two having a look.
Oh, there's a female. You wanted the set.
Yeah, I wanted the pigeon pair. It's a jumping wrasse that's tail hooked.
Header Wrasse.
So this is the female, Crom?
Female green block wrasse, about half the size and quite drab compared to the male, yeah?
Yeah, she's not a good looker. I think the green block wrasse are very similar to Christy and Paul Worsteling, mate. The male is just a beauty and the female's a little drab. I'm only joking, darling. I'm only joking. I love you.
That is one of the bravest things I've ever heard in my life, Paul.
I'll take the flies straight over the side. I only said that to see if my wife Christy was actually watching, because if she doesn't comment, I know she wasn't watching.
I hope for your sake she's not watching.
There he goes. Now we've got a thing here, a boating term called wind against tide. Oh. And what we've got, the wind blowing over my left shoulder and the tide going back in the direction of my right shoulder. That makes it very difficult to fish, so I just drifted a prawn back down the Burley Trail and I could see a whole school of fish, and it's a beautiful bluefish, I think.
It is.
Oh, look at that. What a gorgeous fish. And in the water, it actually looks a lot bluer than when you pull it out, Crom.
They are, although they shift their shade a lot. Sometimes green, even brown colours. Distressed, they go this sort of darker blue.
Oh, look at that.
But in the water, that's a nice one. That's not a fully adult bluey, but that's just a nice size. Great one for the pan, just a lovely fish to catch, yeah?
Tell me a bit about the bluefish, Crom.
Be a little careful of him first off. He's got knives on his gill cover there.
Ouch.
Nice eating fish, good angling species. Maxes out at about 4 kilos exceptionally, 3 kilos average for an adult.
Well, Crom, I think it's time to let this beautiful fish go, so I'll lay him there. And the pliers, please, Captain.
Certainly, sir.
It's probably the easiest way, because the last thing you want to do is run your hands past that gill raker, isn't it?
It's not a good place to be, and I've seen some very nasty injuries.
Well, I don't want a nasty injury. I've got way too much fishing to do on Lord House. I'll grab him from the front and slide back, and away you go, Mr. Bluefish.
Well done for release.
Yep. I've seen some of the prettiest fish I've ever seen in my life today, and we're not more than 500 metres from shore.
Lovely place to fish the lagoon. Usually pretty dependable to find good fish. A lot of people think in terms of smaller ones, but some big ones too.
Well, I saw some big ones and they had my measure as we rock around. It gets a little bumpy here at times, but it's always pretty good. And one more first. It was the first time I fished with the man himself, the legend Gary Crombie. He is the man. He catches fish in this lagoon, and he is Lord Howe Island, basically in a nutshell. Well, the walking version anyway. I can't believe how big this lake is every time I come down here. These are the fellas I was telling you about. Jace,
hey Paul,
great to see you. Bretto,
oh.
Always a pleasure. Now, you've asked me back last time I was here, I think it was June, July, middle of winter, but you reckon February's a great time for fishing a wonga?
Absolutely, mate. The water's just come up recently. We're going to fish some topwater frogs today. We've got a sou'easter blowing. It's tough in these conditions for top water, but I reckon we get some big barra today.
Well, it might be tough, but I know he's good. Now, Brett, you wanted to come up here. You come with the man, as I did, because he gets this big barra. I believe you snuck out yesterday before I got here, and you had a little experience you need to tell us about.
Oh, mate, straight off the plane, straight here. We only fished for about an hour or two, just a bit of exploration for today, and 93 and a 108.
That's the sound we want.
Oh, how good was that?
That is the sound we
Strike in it, mate.
How's that?
Oof. Yeah.
Oh man, that is so cool. Oh,
How'd you pick him up?
it's going hard. Can you just do me a favour, Brett?
Yes, mate.
Can you turn down the volume switch on this shirt for me, please?
I've been trying to do that all day.
Oh wow. Temp's 28.6 degrees here. And we had a concerted plan this morning. I don't know if that actually makes sense. A concerted effort to our plan. And that was to be at this weed bank around noon. Brett got his fish very early, and then things shut down a little bit. But now that cloud cover, it's sort of breaking through and the sun's looking good, but oh, how's the power? And see that weed patch in the back there? Jason's theory is, I'll just get my back out of your face, that the fish will just sit around that weed to feed. And look at the weed in the water here that my fish is cutting through. There's a fair lot of weed there, isn't there?
Just have to go back a bit. Slowly pull that weed off. There's the fish on the other side.
And who said you never do the gardening, Bretto? Oh, I tell you what, I could even.
No, just keep the rod tip out of it because it'll jam in the rod tip. Okay. Just get Brett to pull that.
Oh, it's through.
I thought that broke then.
So did I. Brett, well done, mate. The fact that you were on your guts and you didn't actually even touch the weed, you helped me like I've never been helped before. Cracker effort, mate. Look at that fish. I just love Barra. Just look at that fish coming up down there. Big gold flanks. And they are just power horses. Yeah, baby. That is quality. Whew. How's the take on that frog, Jace?
Yeah, it's awesome, mate. This is a great surface strike, that.
I saw his whole head, shoulders just come out of the water and go woof. Bit more gardening, and look at that hook up, mate. Is that where you tend to get them?
Yeah, no, that's a really good strike, mate. You've got it right in the hinge, and often when you are fishing top water like this, it's one of the best places to hook a barra in here because there's no damage to the leader, so you can fight the fish all day, and if you need to free spool it, you can, because that's not coming out. Even if it jumps, it's locked in there. So. Another thing we're doing here, you've probably noticed, is we've kept the fish in the net and we've kept it in the water, so the fish is in really good condition. We're going to take this fish out of the water and measure it, and we're going to take some still photographs as well. It's very important if you're going to fish for these fish, look after them. They're a great resource, and if you don't want to eat them, keep them in the water until you want to take your photos and then get them straight back in.
So we've got the brag mat out, and it's very important on a hot day and it's getting pretty warm. Just wet the brag mat. That rubber's quite warm and the fish is covered in slime, so you don't want to have him lay on there and bake. So get a bit of water on there. Now Jace is going to bring the barra over and we lay it on the brag mat, as the name would suggest, so that we can go home and brag about its length, because all these fish go back. So we just want to know how big. And Jace, you're extremely talented, so tell me before it goes on the mat how big it is.
I reckon it's a mid-80, mid to high 80.
I'll go 87.
88.
88.
Actually 89.
89. And weight in pounds in for a fish that big?
That fish is, a genuine 7 kilos, maybe a little bit more. It's pretty solidly built. It's got a good set of flanks on it.
And we'll put this fish back in the water and let it go and do what it has to do. And look at that beautiful gold colour. And there are very few things as exciting in angling as when a barramundi actually comes head and shoulders out of the water and takes your buff bait off the surface. Wow. And old Kermit the Frog was just cruising along, and this big girl, Miss Piggy, just didn't see her coming. She's starting to swing that big tail, so I'll point in the direction she's going to go and give her a bit of a push on. There you go, girl. And away she swims, look at that. Straight back down, and she'll be going, that frog was rubbery. This is the beautiful Yaringa Marina, situated on the north arm of Western Port, the top northwest corner, about 60 kilometres southeast of Melbourne. It's a very special day because I've had some amazing people on IFISH over the years, but today I have Hendrika, Johanna, Maria Worsteling, otherwise known as my mum. How are you, darling?
Good, good, very good.
Now,
going fishing.
We're going fishing. When I said to you, I'll take you anywhere in the world, where do you want to go fishing? What'd you say?
Oh, just anywhere as long as it's going with you.
Isn't that sweet? Well, I'm taking Mum fishing for Mother's Day. Mum, because I love you so much, I might not even make you pull the anchor up.
I wouldn't be any good at that.
Let's go fishing, darling. We're Western Port has a pretty intricate system of channels, and today we're at Yoringa. We're heading out the Yoringa Channel and into the North Arm, all the way south, down towards the Coronella area and the Elephant Triangle. Mum's pretty keen to catch an elephant. So with the Lowrance, I'm able to actually use the mapping system and follow the map the whole way, because about 10 metres that way, I'd run aground, 10 metres that way, I'd run aground. So by using this, I just follow my little boat, and it makes boating very simple, because there's only two types of skippers on Western Port. Those that have run aground and those that will. Actually using a burley cage today to try and attract the elephants to our baits and then hold them under the boat. You can see I've got a couple of monstrous sinkers I've put in there to help it go straight to the bottom. And there's some pilchards which are cut up in a few pellets. And what I do, cut up a few pillies, because pilchards have incredible amounts of oil, and I put them in the burley cage, and they'll slowly lose that oil content and do their job beautifully. And this thing here, which looks fairly disgusting, is a log of Hookem fish candy. And it's basically got all fish and tuna oil. Oh. It's like sniffing salts at the football. Just sensational. That'll fit straight in there, that'll go down, and that'll take ages to dissolve. And then on top of that, I've got some pellets. Now, a lot of these pellets will fall out, but if I put them in quickly, they'll actually lock up. Look at that. And as they go into the water, they'll expand, they'll fill that, and it'll probably take about half an hour for all that juice and bits and pieces to move through the water column, and that will bring fish to our boat. Henny, go, go. Oh, you can hardly lift out of the holder. Just keep that going, keep that rod tip, Ben. Gee, all those hugs you gave as a child, now I'm hugging you. There you go. Now, Henny, you do one thing for me as my mother today.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going too. Do me a favour?
Yeah.
Just keep that rod tip bent and I'll love you forever.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Okay.
Now, I was just going to sit here and fish, but Mum suggested we start putting a bit of burley in the water. So we got the burley going, and now she's in trouble. Henny, oh, you're doing good. What we're going to do is come around the other side here, nice and slow. Always lift the rod up, so, and now wind down, and wind down. Now,
That's my right hand.
it's your right hand. Poor old Henny, I've got her winding right hand, she's left-handed. Now, I'll just get this one out of the way for you. You're doing good, darling. And see how he's swimming into the current? He's heading towards the front of the boat. Okay, what you need to do, that's it. When you go down, just drop it further down like that, see? And now only lift to there, lift up to there, and now wind down. And that'll make it a lot easier for you, see? Now, are you excited yet? Sensational. Now, Henny, I've taken you out fishing today because it's Mother's Day.
Yes.
And I thought it definitely beats sitting at home for the family lunch. I have to ask though, you've been a mother for how many years now? How old's your oldest daughter?
It's 46 or something.
So you've been a mother for 46 years, and how many kids do you have?
5.
5? That's right, I'm the youngest of 5.
Yes.
Now, out of all your kids, and remember I took you fishing today, which one's your favourite?
Oh, God, you make it. Oh, yes, his hair.
Okay, but which one's your favourite?
Oh, Paulie's going again.
He's all right. Oh, look at he's a nice fish too. Look at him hanging there. So, Henny, which one's your favourite? We'll just pretend it's me for today, okay?
Let's pretend it is you for today.
Oh, look at that beautiful fish. He's out there, Henny. You've done a cracker job. Just take your time. He's a nice fish, this one. Just slowly, slowly walk, take a step back.
Yeah.
Oh, lift her over, Henny. Oh, and you are very lucky, because guess what? Your line has just parted company as I brought it over the side. Well, Mum,
We got one.
we got one.
Finally got one.
Come around here, darling. Don't go hiding. Now, you love elephants, don't you?
I do.
Why?
Oh, I think the elephant fish is just beautiful. It's just so unusual. I think he's just different.
Unique fish. It's not actually a shark.
No, it's
It's a chimera, which is very confusing. It's an elephant chimera. It's from a member of fishes. There's basically bony fishes and non-bony fishes, and the non-bony fishes are 5% of all fish. They are built up of sharks, rays, and chimeras. And this guy is actually a chimera. It's not a ray or a shark. And the thing that differentiates it between the sharks and the rays, see those big pectoral fins? It actually uses them to perpetuate motion. And when you see them swim in the water, they swim with their fins. Henny, you're a legend.
He's beautiful.
Done well.
He is absolutely beautiful.
Just a slight breeze blowing here today, 15 to 20 knots of nor'-nor'easter, I'm tipping, Matty.
Yeah, mate, it's a pretty good call.
It is a pretty good call. Matt Gates, Tackle World Exmouth, he's taking me out to a small island group today, mainly to escape this wind, mate.
Well, it just makes life easier. We've had a couple of nice days. We've got a bit of a breeze. It's gonna back off this afternoon, which we can, you know, venture and do other stuff. But always when there's a breeze, it's a little bit difficult doing some fishing, but in the lure of the island, we'll still be able to fish.
Now, I will put up with bad weather and lots of wind if the fish are there. Are there going to be fish here?
Mate, there's all manner of species we could encounter today. GTs, giant trevallies, my personal favourite, one of my personal favourites, and I want to see you get stretched by one.
Sounds like a plan. Well, my arms at the moment are about 2 foot long. When I get back, if they're 4 foot long in the last piece to camera, you'll know I hooked a GT. And they've got some serious fish to do. Bit of bycatch as well?
Yes, mate, we should get Spangled Emperor, Gold Spot Trevally. Mate, Golden Trevally would be a really nice bonus. They're just really picturesque fish. We're going to chuck poppers and sliders and minnows, that sort of stuff. So with any luck, we might even encounter Goldens. You get barracuda, shark mackerel. So there's a few things we could come across.
Sounds like we're going to be 2 very busy boys.
Yeah, you're on a nice one, Paulie. Righto, mate, keep winding. I'll grab the wheel for you, mate. How you going, mate?
Good, just going to keep winding.
You keep winding, mate. Keep winding. Rightio, Paul, this might be the one we want, mate.
He's going around the front of the boat,
All right, mate, I'll spin you around, okay?
Yep.
You keep nice and tight for me. Righto, mate, we're getting close to this reef here. I want you to put some hurt on him.
Yep.
Get him to come back this way, mate.
Just applying pressure with my thumb, so that if he really wants to go, I can let him go. I'm just trying to hold him up.
No, you've done well, mate. You've turned him, Paul. You've turned him.
No, I think he's turned me.
He's a nice fish,
A
mate.
bright shade of red.
Nice fish, Paul. Nice fish. You got him up off the bottom. That's where we want him. Look at that, mate. And that where the wake just left, the boat just left the wake. There, you can see him beautifully. Crystal clear water. Righto, mate. I'm going to sneak around. Give you a hand with that leader.
Oh, look at that.
Where are you, mate?
Just here.
Yeah, we got a good one, Paul. We got a good one. Oh, he's still pretty green, Paul. Stay with me, mate.
Yeah, it's all right. If he goes, he goes.
But I can see about 1 inch of that stick bait hanging out of his big mullet-eating mosh, mate. Oh, try around the other side there, because back of the boat's a bit hard.
Man, these are insane fish.
I'm just going to go backwards a bit, okay, Paul?
Yep.
Just so we don't get near this reef, mate.
Yep.
Keep that hurt on him, mate.
Here he is again, Randy.
Tell me when that leader's out of the water.
Leader's out of the water.
Coming down. Righto, excuse me, please, Paul. Can I come in there? Don't let me go, Paul.
No, I've got you, mate. Have you got the fish?
We have a GT, Paul.
You beauty, Matty. I have to say, I love your work. There's water on the lens. We'll be back in a second. GT, Matty and me. Well, the lens is clean, the sunnies are off, and Matt, if my wife wasn't staying back at the Novotel Ningaloo Resort, I would have given you a big kiss.
Mate, I thought you were going to.
Mate, this is heaven on a stick.
It's awesome fish, mate.
What do GTs mean to you in Exmouth?
Mate, they're huge. As a kid, while I was a youngster, I first got my licence at 17. Used to drive 14 hours at night to come up for a couple of days to chase these bad boys. Mate, I'm getting a bit older now. I'm still a youngster at heart, but I love these fish even more than I did then, I think, Paul.
Now, I'm having a stab. This fish is around 20 kilos,
fair call,
45 pounds?
Yep, I'd give that a fair call, mate. He's pretty heavy. I'm getting tired. I'm going to give him to you
Mate,
in a minute.
I'll grab him in a second, but tell me, what is the biggest GT you've ever caught?
Personally, I've had him about 40 kilos. I've come just under.
Twice this size?
Twice this size, mate.
Well, I just wanted to feel the weight of this fish, and let me just say...
That is a beautiful fish,
It
mate.
weighs. Giant Trevally, Caranix ignobilis.
Caranix ignobilis, that's it.
I love it. Well,
have a look at that stick bait.
Look at that, he swallowed that Jewel Yozuri stick bait. It was the last thing it ever saw. We'll get this guy back in the water. We want to swim him and keep him going. Let's just put him back in the water, mate, and then we'll do the release.
I'll just get out of your way.
Can you just grab that rod and open that up?
Yeah, mate, just let's give him a swim.
Let's give him a swim first. Oh, you right?
Yeah, mate, whenever you're ready.
There you go. We just really want to look after this fish, so we're just going to swim him.
We'll swim him on the leader if you like, Paul.
That sounds like a good idea. I'll let him go.
Let him go. You grab that leader there.
Yep.
And you just
bring it down to me.
There.
That's better. Look at that kick.
Yeah.
Just grab him. That's it.
Still got nice colour in his flanks there, mate. That's all good.
Just bring him away from them. Come here,
worries.
mate. Here we go. And this is important. Look at that. This is important. That fish is swimming beautifully now. We love catching giant trevally. We love swimming them and letting them go even more. Well, we've swum the fish, done the right thing. Matty, you've got the lure out.
I'm just doing that now, mate. He's actually wolfed it, but look at that, it's just about fallen out.
That is
Look at the
a
state of it,
that's a
mate.
140 slider, which is made by Jewel, which is the Ozuru company. And how's the hardware on it, mate?
Mate, it's good, mate. The old SJ41 stood up well to 80-pound fins.
Do me a favour, put your fist in his gob again.
No way.
How cool is that? His whole hand fits in that fish's mouth, look. And he's got a fair old fist, Matty.
Righto, mate.
Let's let this fish go, eh?
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I'll get out of your way, Paul. You spear him in, I reckon, mate. Just...
Oh. I'm just going to swim him for a sec, and then I'll spear him. I'm just going to lift him up and drop him, okay?
Yep.
And down he goes. So, Christy, what do you think of the concept? Bacon and eggs, 5-star dining, 5 minutes later fishing in paradise.
I think that's a fantastic concept. I added some French toast to that. The weather's on our side, and I'm ready to meet some of the locals.
And when Christy says some of the locals, she's talking about the ones with fins. We're on one of Island Passage's many tender vessels. We're going to go out around Santo here in Vanuatu and just do a little bit of exploring, because you just never know what you're going to find, do you?
Hopefully Sandy can put us on the spot.
Well, Sandy is the man, he knows his stuff, and if anyone can put us on the spot, it'll be a local. That's why my friends at Tackle World always say, hook up with a local.
Trolling on the inside of the reef here, and Sandy's given me the word to put some Ozuru minnows on. They've got a bib on the front of them, and they're getting down nice and deep into the coral, so hopefully a fish will come out and smash them. We're doing about 5 knots, and it's all looking good. No.
What's the plan?
I was trying my little heart out. I wanted to get it out before it reefed me.
That's a big lure it's eating, so it could be anything, darling.
It's got a good head shake on it.
Has it?
Come on, little man. Show me the money. He's just seen the boat.
I can see, Carl, I've got that drag locked up, darling, so you better hang on. I reckon it might be no, it is a true. Oh, it's GT! Well,
it was a GT.
It was a GT. And see this, darling?
Yeah.
That also was about 1 inch from my eye.
But it doesn't matter, I can still the fish.
It doesn't matter. Old one-eye husband, that's lovely.
That was awesome.
That's all right, just hold it. Just hold it there, you're doing a great job. Just hang on. Just hang on, hold it there, just hold on with both hands. You got 80-pound fins locked up, darling. Just hold on. You're doing a great job. Hang on to it, girl.
It was a big red bass, I think.
Is it? Okay, well, just hang on. You're doing a great job. Just don't give him an inch. Don't give him an inch. I'm coming through, walk over this way. Go towards the front.
Come on, baby.
Get into it.
He's engulfed it.
Has he?
He just went nuts on the surface.
Okay.
Oh, it was awesome.
Don't let the braid touch the boat.
Come
That's
on,
a big fish, all right, Christy.
I know, I saw him.
Take your time.
Sandy, do you see him? Yeah. Okay, there he is.
Oh, look at the size of him.
Come on, matey.
Oh, look at the size.
Get him.
I'm going to need a glove, doll. Sandy will pass one from the front. Christy, you got a gun.
Oh, that was wicked. That was so wicked.
Christy.
I just saw him come in and he just launched on my lure and he just engulfed it. Oh,
this is a monstrous.
Oh, yeah!
Look at that, honey. Come around here.
Look at his teeth.
Come around here. How's that for a fish on a popper?
Oh my God, that was the best. That was so, I cannot tell you how much fun that was.
Now, you chose that popper out of my box?
I did choose that popper, and my arms were getting very tired from the cast and retrieve, but how good is that? That is so worth every cast.
It's got to be 9 kilos of red bass. How hard do they pull?
I'm thinking, you said hold on and wind. I'm thinking, I'm holding on, but there's no way I can wind. He just went straight into the reef. Oh,
well, we just had a
that is
GT.
unbelievable.
Just had a GT about 50 pound, grabbed the lure and let go, but Christy, you didn't let this one get away.
No.
Big red bass. How cool is that?
Thank you, Sandy. Woo!
Well, Christy, that has got to be, if you can grab the pliers for me, one of the biggest red bass I have ever seen.
Thank you.
And I was very proud of your work then.
Thank you. That was just so much fun.
How good was the take? I missed it.
He just literally launched like a dolphin and went back with his mouth open and slammed the yozuri.
Look at the teeth on it. Just look at those teeth. That is wrong town. You would not want to be a bait fish around here. Now, you happy if I let it go, honey?
Yep, sounds good
Just
to me.
watch that lure on the side
Thank
there.
you, red bass.
Oh, I think you'd be pretty keen. Most of these fish are. To go, and away you go, mate.
Bye, red bass.
Straight down, off he goes.
Thank you
Darling.
for the pleasure. Mwah.
Love your work.
High five.